And welcome to another edition of the Real Estate Show, South Florida's #1 and longest running program all about real estate. Today, once again, we have one of our frequent guests, Mr. Mario Caprini. And today we decided we're going to have a little bit of a different discussion. You know, we've talked about the debt elimination program as a solution to help upside down and homeowners in distress to get out of their problems, and probably one of the best ways out there. We've talked about the lease ownership program, and is how do you take a distressed homeowner and now make them a unstressed homeowner, and really some cutting edge ideas and programs that you have out there. And we even talked about the opportunities that investors have in all of these programs to really make some very handsome returns without taking the additional risk. But an interesting conversation that we were having a little bit before the program started was about how real estate agents today really have to reinvent themselves, because probably one of the biggest challenges you were telling me is that as an investor out there finding properties, believe it or not, with all of the distressed properties out there, the hard part is finding good inventory.
Correct.
And tell us a little bit about the challenge that you're having because of the real estate agents.
Well, I've been invited to speak at all the big players, RE/MAX, Keller Williams, Exit Realty, name them. I've probably been to their office and given a little lecture or introduction on real estate investing.
And you're out there educating real estate offices.
I think it's very important, because as an investor, I can tell you that less than 5% of realtors have any clue about real estate investment. So if you're not, and we can see in the newspaper, and unfortunately, you know, a lot of the established realtors, you know, I remember reading in the newspaper, RE/MAX in Fort Lauderdale, been around 30 years, closed its doors. So unless you're reinventing yourself, unless you know about the real estate investment business, you're going to struggle, because in today's market, who are your buyers? They're the cash buyers, which are opportunity buyers who want to buy their vacation home because they saved up some money and now there's such deals out there that they want to buy them. And then you have the real estate investors who pay cash because they're banking their properties and they're renting, they're getting cash flow, and they're going to wait for the market to stabilize, and then they're going to resell at a later date. Those are all your buyers. So when you see the statistics that sales have gone up, it's because these people are buying.
Right.
So it's not Mrs. Daisy driving around with you know, Realtor ABC looking for a vacation home. I mean, there's still a little bit of that, but the majority of the business is
But over and over, I hear the same complaint that you were just making, is that investors are having a hard time finding a real estate agent, #1, that understands real estate investing, and #2 is knowledgeable enough to recognize a good investment.
That's why we created our RIA. We joined the national RIA, which is, I think, 350 offices in the United States and 41,000 members.
Right.
And
for our listeners who don't know the jargon, RIA means Real Estate Investment Association. That's
right.
the acronym.
Right. And that's a national organization, and I looked at all the organizations out there, and we've decided to create Capital Group RIA, and we're the only one considered commercial relating to investments. Everybody else is usually more of a local presence, and they talk a little bit about everything, but we're more focused on real estate investment, whether it's residential and commercial. And obviously, right now the market is very hot for residential investment, especially when you know that you can buy $250,000 condos, that great neighborhoods, 2-bedroom, 2-bath for, you know, $58,000. I mean, it's unbelievable. So what we've decided to do is we created the RIA, one, to educate the investors, to educate the public, but especially, you know, really, we did have a little bit of an agenda, because we wanted to educate the realtors, the brokers, because when I go into a market, there's no way that I know the market as well as the local realtor. So I want to meet that local realtor that knows their neighborhoods, that know who the players are, that know what product is good, which is not as good. And I want to team up with them. And when I team up with them, and I've had numerous cases where I teamed up with great people, but they just did not understand the investment business. So we developed a training program step by step. And we pay them actually more than the regular commission. If the regular commission is 3, we'll pay 4. So we want to train you, and we'll pay you more so that you know exactly what you're supposed to do, so that we can find the right product, because, you know, being a good investor doesn't mean you know every good neighborhood. And we want to team up. I think it's a natural marriage for realtors to team up with investors. And we want to create long-term investments. So we're going to educate our realtors into DP, into lease ownership, because all these things slowly translate to an investment deal.
Well, you obviously are very obviously motivated to find these real estate agents. If you're willing, most investors, you would imagine that the psychology is to pay as little as possible, but you actually want to pay them more if you can get the right knowledge, the right inventory, and the right opportunities.
Listen, in every recession, knowledge is power. That's why you see everybody flocking back to school. They want to learn something they didn't learn so they can cope with the new situation, the new circumstances. We're giving practically free education because it's essential to get this economy going, get the realtors back on their feet so that the investors can have access to product. I go to a lot of RIA meetings. I go to a lot of meetings with private investors, foreign nationals. They're all saying the same thing. It's hard to find product. We can't get our product. And they talk to their friends, the realtors they've known for 20 years, and they just drive around, and there's no real strategy. And that's what we make different. So if there are realtors that are out there, please contact our office, visit our website. It's Capital Group. Let me get.
Well, why don't we do the one that the 90-day fresh start is a great starting point. They can learn a little bit about the program, and of course they can always contact your office.
Right, and it's capitalredefined.com. Sorry about that.
Well, that about wraps it up for today's program. I want to thank you all for listening, and again, I want to thank you, Mario, for taking the time and sharing more of your knowledge.
Thank you.
Again.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you.